I will record it and I will send you.
If you, yeah, you can send it to us. That, I think that would be great.
Yes, I mean, the clip that we recorded last week, Deborah, actually has got these exercises on it, so I will send you that over too. So I'll make sure you've got all of that. But just in terms of breathing exercises, if you just, again, like you were relaxed in the shoulders, because we end up holding so much tension up here. You can feel it in your neck when we do the neck exercises, when you do that head rolling, you can feel the tension that we hold here. So it's really important just to relax your shoulders back. And when you're breathing, they shouldn't move at all. So I'd like you just to rest your hands in your lap, and maybe close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in for 3, and then out for 3. And then in for 4, and then out for 4. And you can get to 5. And then out again for 5. And do that for 3 more breaths. So just you can carry on with that breathing. But if you imagine you are on a beach and you hear the waves coming in and going out, the waves come in and you can hear that, and then they stop and then they go back out. And if you imagine your breath in that way, so you breathe in as the wave goes out and then out, and imagine the wave coming in. You should be able to just kind of stop and pause at the top of each breath. Good. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. And that really is just a way of self-regulating, so that you use your breath just to bring everything back to you, so that you kind of can block out any other distractions. And Deborah, we were on a coaching course together, which is where we met. And I know Annie, who was one of our teachers, was very keen on the breathing technique for self-regulation. And so another way of doing that is to breathe in for 4 and then breathe out for twice as long. So breathe out for 8. So breathe in for 4, then out for 8. And that breathing really is for self-regulation. So that's not the technique that I teach around pyramid breathing, which is really the breath that you need to practice to get longer breaths, so that you can actually support yourself when you're on stage, or when you're in front of an audience and feeling slightly nervous. If you learn how to pyramid breathe, which I think is on that piece of tape, Zule. So I won't go through it now, but I will double check that that's on that tape that will show you how to practice those breaths, so that you can actually support your voice. So that when you're speaking, or if you've got lots to say, then you can actually make sure that you can breathe on a full stop, rather than stopping in the middle of a sentence because you haven't got enough breath. And the pyramid breathing technique just gives you a way of supporting your voice as you're speaking. Okay, any questions on that before we move on?
I will say the exercise was really good.
Yeah.
The best part was how I felt so like tense when I put the shoulders up, and very good, that was really good for me. And I feel more like calm, I suppose it's like the time have gone, and I found it really, really useful.
Good, good. You know, I mean, it's very important to give yourself that little bit of time before you go into anything that you feel slightly apprehensive over, because it really does sort of calm you down and bring you sort of back into yourself. Nerves are always going to be an issue, and you can't get rid of them ever. You can calm them, you can control them, but those nerves mean that you care about what it is that you're about to do. So embrace them, so use them. Nerves come across sometimes as, well, it's adrenaline. So rather than you kind of producing cortisol, which comes from stress, you need to try and get used to regulating yourself so that those nerves are calmed down, and it's more about the endorphins that then you create through excitement, rather than, you know, the other hormone which is created from stress. So it's just about, you know, knowing the difference. But I think we'll come on to that later, because I'm going to be talking about that a little bit too. So in terms of your body language, now I know in Zoom it's kind of quite difficult to read other people's body language, but if you're presenting, if you're making videos like you are quite often, Deborah, and I don't know whether Zule you are making videos, tell us a little, what is it that you kind of have issues around, or what is it that you need to use in your work that you need to practice?
Well, basically because of the pandemic started last year, I started doing Zoom workshops. But what happened is that at the beginning of the sessions, I have to like explain how did I get into origami. And I have been doing more sessions now, for example, with GPs, you know, with doctors on the NHS. And yeah, it's just, you know, I'm in my best element when I'm just showing my hands. My voice is so calm, you know, and it's like they are not seeing me, you know, and I don't have to tell anymore about my story or how I started. But yeah, the feedback has been really good, and I usually can talk better and calm if I'm just showing my hands, you know. And what I have been doing is that I usually get like quite like red here, even if I'm not nervous. It's like I suppose it comes from passion, and I have got better at that. But even if I'm speaking like calmly or something, it's like something red comes up, and it's like I have been using this, you know. And but yeah, I am reinventing myself, and I want to get better at, because as Deborah, you know, it's like I don't know, we all need income, and but we also need to do something that we are passionate about, and we love to.
Yeah. So when you say that they can't see you, they can only see your hands. So do you sort of film down?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't have any setup or anything like that, and I have been changing because some people, for example, on the NHS, they use just like Google. Anyway, the story is that I use like sort of like a magic sort of trick that I do this, and I just put it down, and it's all the setup, and all that they can see is like, you know, it's black and like lighting and this and that. But yeah, it's like I'm in my element, you know. It's yeah, and yeah, I have been like, how can I put it, improving, but you know, it's all, it's a way like it is, you know. It's like at the moment I'm like combining sessions, you know, and hopefully things are going to be now in like community centers. That's where I used to do it, you know, for many years.
Yeah.
But this is what is going to generate income, because as Deborah is in Canada, it's like I have done sessions recently that where people are in other parts in Europe.
Yeah. So you need to work out how to do it on the thumbnail, and that's really good, the way that you can do that and film down at what you're doing. So that's and that adds a little bit of interest, doesn't it? But I think in terms of the redness, I think all of this kind of, if you can get yourself into the right headspace before you go, I think that will even though you're not feeling nervous, I think that will help. But the kind of body poses, I mean, we did a little bit of this in a presentation that I did when Deborah was there with the coaches. It's again something you can do when you are, you know, before you switch on the camera, before you sort of start anything, is to, again, to get yourself into a space where you can do these kind of confidence poses. There's a lady called Amy Cuddy, I think is her name, and she did a TED talk on body posture and superhero poses. So, you know, if you you stand like a superhero, so your chest is out and your shoulders are back and your head is held high, that will give you the feeling of being confident. Whereas, you know, and I do an exercise with my drama classes where I do a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is the most confident you can be, and 1 is the least confident you can be. And if we kind of sit at around a 5, if you imagine somebody that you admire or you think has a really high status, so who would you imagine, Zule, that would have a really high status? Who would be overly confident?
Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher. Deborah?
Oprah.
Oprah, yay. So yes, these are 2 influential women. These are 2 important, confident women. They stand up and they are sort of as confident as they possibly can be in their own bodies, or they appear to be. But they hold themselves in such a way that they are confident. So if you imagine that Oprah or Margaret Thatcher are our number 10, we are at number 5, who would be at number 1?
Okay, say again.
Who do you think, if Margaret Thatcher and Oprah Winfrey are at number 10, so the highest status, the most confident person they could possibly be, we as mere mortals are at a number 5 on our scale of 1 to 10, so we're kind of in the middle. So who would be at number 1? Who would be the least confident? Can you name somebody or a type of person, a stereotype, if you can imagine? Who would be at number 1?
A bully?
A bully? Yeah. I mean, bullies are quite arrogant, aren't they? So they're all show. They're all about, you know, shoulders back.
Yes, but it's usually the bullier, the one that is less confident.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
But they're all show. If you, I always, Deborah, have you got any ideas?
I don't, because you don't often find them. I guess it would be a character in a movie. Now I'm trying to think of a character in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just to show the extremes. So I always imagine somebody that's homeless, somebody that's living on the street. So they've got very low self-esteem. They're quite sad that, you know, their life isn't going the way they expect. And, you know, if you see these people on the street asking for money or just moving themselves around, they move around with their shoulders hunched over. They make themselves as small as they possibly can be. I mean, it doesn't need to necessarily be somebody that's homeless, but anybody that doesn't have that confidence, anybody that doesn't have that self-esteem, they kind of try to hide from the world. So they make themselves very small. So this is kind of what you want to avoid, because that is going to, in terms of putting yourself across to anybody that you're trying to talk to or encourage or teach or coach, you don't want to go in with your legs. You know, if you sit down with your sort of legs crossed and sat like this, then people will get the impression that you don't have that confidence. So it's about, again, shoulders down, head up, and just sitting as comfortably as you can and feeling that you are Oprah or feeling that you are Margaret Thatcher. Not necessarily. Margaret Thatcher is.
Well, to be honest, it's because what I'm living at the moment, and it's like, you know, the Iron Lady, and
Yes.
That's how I really need to feel at the moment, and that was the first name that came into my mind.
And that's, yeah, absolutely. And the exercises I've done before, people have sort of mentioned Michelle Obama, or, you know, somebody that has a very sort of, what do they call it? A self-awareness.
Would you call that a presence?
A presence, yes, absolutely. And so even if you don't feel it inside, we are all capable of making ourselves happy, having that confidence. Pencil in the mouth makes you smile. So we can, you can fake it if you have to, and the more you practice faking it, the more it will become your reality.
Okay, I will share something that I did yesterday when I went out with my daughter, and I saw this sticker that you put on the wall that you can remove, but it said, never let anyone to take your sparkle away.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think that's quite important. It's like now it's in front of my bed. When I wake up, I just see that never let anyone to take your sparkle away. And yeah, it's like sometimes we appear to be so confident, and we have a sort of like double life.
Yeah.
And but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people, and it's a word that comes up a lot when I talk to people, is that they need permission. So many people bring from their childhoods, their upbringing, their culture, their relationships, they bring all this baggage with them. And then they feel that they aren't allowed to be themselves or express themselves or be confident. To actually, some people think that standing with your shoulders back and your chest out feels very arrogant, but it doesn't have to be. It's about being self-aware, it's being self-assured, it's being confident, and you can give that to yourself. That's a feeling that you can conjure up in yourself. You don't need anybody else to give you permission to do that. So, that's very much the basis of putting yourself out there, putting yourself on a video, putting yourself on a screen. It will feel vulnerable, but in order to be courageous, you have to be vulnerable. The courage to do what you're doing, to put yourself out there, automatically is a form of vulnerability. So we kind of have to get used to that.
Yeah, I think it's about exposing yourself in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to do it in the best way possible that you can like inspire or reach to people. That I have been doing it, but I want to become better, because it's not the same to do it in a camera. If you are in a community center, in a workshop, and is elderly ladies, it is different. But now I'm talking to like business people, and all of that come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah, and the more we do it, the better it becomes, and the just getting out and doing it. I know it takes a big thing. I mean, Deborah, you've been doing fantastically to actually, do what you do regularly. So does it feel with practice that you're getting better? Do you feel that more confident now than you did when you very first started?
Yeah, more confident camera. I'm still not I'm confident being on camera, but I'm not confident around my content. So I don't know, is that something you're going to be covering? The structure, like how to structure or how to deliver the content, or
yeah, we can.
How to be confident with our content and our structure.
Yeah, we can touch on that today. Obviously, there isn't that's a whole course to actually work on a piece of presentation. Do either of you have something that you've brought along to work on?
I don't.
No.
I think I got it here. It's like things that I have written about me in the past, because I have been like sort of like interview for like magazine, but where they basically change the words, but I have to like say things about me. But what I would like to work with you in the future is like actors and actresses, they have a sort of a script, and when they go and do the cameras, action, and all of that, sometimes they change certain words but they do have everything is sort of like written down for them. And it's like, when it's about your life, I am completely confident that you can like improvise a little bit, because it's your life. You're not talking about somebody else, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, about tone of voice, you know, like speaking calmly. I gave up of trying to like um fake or like change my accent, because it's like, in a way, it has become a better for people to know that I sound quite exotic, but they can still understand me. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but I do have to improve. You know,
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, around a presentation, whether you need a script or whether you learn it, you know, that's it. That depends on the person and depends how you work the best. I find it better to have bullet points or to use something that you can refer back to. So as much as you don't have a learnt script, you haven't got something you've learned. I mean, obviously actors need to learn a script because somebody's written that screenplay, somebody's written that film, and generally the writer has written the wording the way they've written it for a reason. And so that kind of needs, I used to hate it when any of my actors change the words. It's like, that's not right. But in your own life, in your own presentations, you can do it however you feel comfortable, you know, as long as you're getting your point across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I've got a list of sort of tips that as we go through, you can ask me questions as we go. Let me get rid of that. The stuff pops up. So that was the posing one, wasn't it? Right. So can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make it bigger?
Yep. Ooh, not that big. It's a bit too big.
Yeah. Well, then the right part gets cut off. Yeah, maybe just slightly bigger.
Ooh, oh, you're talking, right, let me see. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll talk it through. Obviously, this has been recorded, so you'll see all this when you get the recording. But number one here is project. And projection is all about using your breath. So using pyramid breath, extra projection will give your speech energy. We associate energized, definite speech with authority. So a bit like last week, Deborah, when we were doing the Neanderthal, you know, the caveman voice, which comes very much from your pelvis, from, you know, right the way down there. Projection, in order for you to use that voice, is very important. And the pyramid breath, the practicing your breath, will really get you to that point. Yeah, people associate a deeper voice with authority, and that deep voice is something that takes practice. So that if you really want to be authoritative in what you're saying, if you want to use your voice in order to show that you are trustworthy, to show that you are confident, you know what you're talking about, then it's very good to start practicing that pyramid breathing so that you can really project. And obviously, it's not quite so important when you're on camera that your voice is projected, but certainly in terms of authority, it's a good thing to learn so that you can use it with authority. If you're on a stage, then projection is very important because you need your voice to reach the back of the room. Microphones will help, but they're not the be all and end all. You need to be able to speak up and speak loudly. And then speak in a measured pace with pauses. Slowing your speaking pace will help you relax. It will give you time to think and give your listener time to take in what you're saying. Speaking in a measured pace can help us appear confident. So again, that's making sure that you know what it is that you're saying, so that you are confident in what it is that you're delivering, so that you can afford to take pauses, because your audience need to hear and understand what it is that you're saying. So quite often when we get nervous or we don't feel confident about what it is that we are presenting, we automatically get a bit faster, and our voices kind of go, and then people can't really understand what it is that you're saying because you're speaking too fast. And so just speak in a measured way with pauses. Use the pauses. So say something important and take that time for that penny to drop, so that your audience can then sort of think, oh, okay, that's what she said. And then you can carry on. So don't be frightened of taking pauses. You know, that dead space is where the audience have a chance to really catch up with what it is that you've been saying, and for that penny to drop. Is that all making sense so far? And if you're doing anything, take small steps. So if you're making the videos, if you're attempting to go live, like Deborah, I know you have, don't try and do everything at once. Choose something that you are comfortable with. So if you're comfortable with your phone on a selfie stick and just talking to the phone like that, just for 30 seconds, a minute, and then that's what you're going to upload to Facebook or to LinkedIn or whatever, do that. If you then need to do a whole webinar where it's sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, or a presentation or a speech, a talk that's longer, then take it in baby steps. Practice what it is that you need to do just in small chunks. So it might be that if you've got a huge presentation that you are going to be recording on a video, then rather than thinking, right, I've got a whole page of script here that I need to get across, then don't think, right, I'm going to start at the top and go all the way through to the bottom, because invariably somewhere in the middle, you'll mess up and you'll have to start again. So the best thing to do is just take it in chunks. So maybe do 3, 4, 5 sentences, a paragraph, and then stop, and then move on to the next bit. And I would really, really recommend learning how to use a very simple editing technique. Do either of you, Deborah, I assume maybe with your videos that you've been doing, have you learned how to do some editing?
No, because I don't want to put in the extra time and work into editing.
It's really, yeah, once you get used to it, it's really not that time consuming, actually.
Yeah, I downloaded this free editing called OBS, but I know there's a huge learning curve, so I have to learn how to use that.
Yeah. What about you, Zule? No. I, in lockdown, decided, because I had the time, and admittedly, but I decided to learn how to use iMovie because it comes free on my laptop and I've got it on my phone. And actually, it was very simple to find a tutorial on Google. That there was half an hour, but they come in an hour long, whatever, and just sit down and then play and practice it. It is very, very simple. And actually, when you think about how much time you waste repeating what you've just done because you've made a mistake, it actually kind of, if you know that I've only got 4 sentences to say and then I can stop, then you can get those 4 sentences just how you want them before you move on to the next 4 sentences. And then actually, it's quite easy just to join them together. So I would recommend having a go, but always, even if it's not around editing, but always take everything in small steps. Work your way up to something. Don't think, don't jump in with both feet and think that you've got to be perfect. Perfection is not what you're aiming for. Getting it done is what you're aiming for. So get feedback from, yeah.
No, I can see how that saves time, because when I was doing the pre-recorded video, I made a little mistake and I had to do it over again. So I was doing it like 5 times, just little mistakes here and there. So I guess if I can learn the editing, I can just, repeat that paragraph rather than doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
To get it right.
Yeah, and you do get used to, as long as you kind of leave a gap. So you say your 4 sentences and then stop, leave a slight pause, a few seconds, and then you can carry on with the next bit, or you can stop there and then carry on, so that then you've got a bit of an overlap that you can just edit into. So yeah, it's relatively simple once you get used to it. But anything
In terms, sorry, Jackie, in terms of basically like not to actually editing, just to like practice how you sound and how you look, will that work as well? I
Yeah.
have never tried to record myself. To be
Yeah,
honest, when I hear my voice in like voicemails and all of that, I feel like, oh my goodness, I sound like a child, you know.
nobody likes the sound of their own voice, like nobody likes watching themselves on a screen.
Okay.
But it's something we've all got used to, and we've all have to get used to coming out of this, because you know the world has changed. And actually I've found, because as an actor on stage, I never saw myself, I never heard myself. I'd get on stage, I'd do my part, and then I'd be gone until the next time. And it's only been in lockdown where I've been forced to look at myself on a screen that I've had to get used to it, to listening to myself, to hearing myself. And actually, I'm okay with it. It's still not brilliant. I don't think anybody ever, you know, you get these top actors, the brilliant Oscar-winning actors that never watch themselves because they just can't stand the sound of their own voice, or they didn't do that right, or whatever. So it's always good to just keep practicing, get used to seeing yourself, get used to hearing yourself. And you don't have to put it out there yet. Practice with people, get feedback from someone you trust, because credible feedback from a trusted source can boost your confidence.
Okay, I need you to do that with me. You know, it's like you are a very credible source. You know, and I must say that your presence and your voice is really nice. You know, it's like the way that you come across, so like confident. It gives the other person confidence as well.
Oh, well, that's good. That's great to know. That is great to know. But I have to say that's come with like 20 odd years of standing up in front of classrooms and you know, actors and different people. So it is about practice, and you can only do this if you are prepared to put in some time, because it does take time. It does take time. But don't be frightened just to play. You know, even with your Zoom, you can set up a Zoom call and record yourself on a Zoom screen. You know, it's quite easy to do that. And once we've gone through these, I will show you the equipment I've got and show you what you can use very, very simply to make yourself and your presentations better. So moving on, identify occasions when you feel comfortable speaking. Ask what you were doing differently. So this kind of comes back to what we did at the beginning with that 1 minute. So finding time, I mean, that wasn't comfortable because I really threw you into that. So normally when you're in a situation where you're talking to people, think about times when you did feel good about that. When did you feel comfortable talking to people? Is it around a dinner table at a dinner party, when you're with friends? I mean, how do you imagine that feeling? How do you feel when you're feeling comfortable and confident speaking? Identify when that is and ask yourself, what is it about that situation that makes me feel comfortable, and how can I use that when I'm actually in a situation and not feeling quite so comfortable? So again, it's a little bit about transferring the feeling of being confident, like when we were talking about the status and, you know, shoulders back, chest out. When you feel like that, when you're in areas that you feel confident, can you take that feeling and recreate it when you're about to go on stage or about to switch on the camera? How can you take that with you? Write down what you're going to say. Know that it is okay to read your thoughts and feelings. Use prompt cards or bullet points. So again, this comes back to, should you use a script or should you do it off the top of your head? Now, there are very, very few people that can speak a presentation without having notes of some kind. Now, I've done it every which way. I've had my notes up behind my laptop, strapped up somewhere, you know, whatever, onto a tripod, even stuck to the screen, because actually you can hide part, as long as you don't hide the camera, you can stick anything to your screen so that you are actually, you've got your notes there. But what I find works best, and I haven't got any here today, is the little prompt cards. My daughter's got like revision cards that you can actually write down on a card. And you see, you know, you see broadcasters do it all the time on the TV. You see them using the prompt cards. So write down your points on that, and then just refer to them. So what you need to do is have a prompt that then can take you into, you know, a couple of minutes of just talking off the top of your head, of just, you know, sharing your thoughts without actually having to read them. You can do that with slides as well. If you're using slides, slides are better at being visuals. So visuals that prompt you with maybe a sentence or two sentences. You don't want what I've got here. I've got one here that I'm not proud of, but I will share it with you. So this one here. Oh, how do I make that? There we go. This one here, that's too much information. So really what I will do with this is I will take maybe 3 points. So there's 6 points on there. So I maybe take 3 on one, and then put the rest of them on another card, so that you're just using it as a visual. So something like that is better. So that one is obviously more visual. Current slide, there we go. So that one on screen will just, I know what Superwoman, I know what I'm talking about when I look at Superwoman, macho, listen to me. These are all the different poses to make you feel great. So they just prompt me to talk through what it is that I'm trying to get across.
Jackie, have you ever used a teleprompter?
I've not. I know there are some good ones out there.
What's that?
A teleprompter. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a kind of a, oh God, this always happens. Why they do this? Sorry. A teleprompter is something that sits on your screen. It's what, say, newsreaders use. It's something that shows you the words so that you're actually still looking at the camera, but what you're seeing when you're looking at the camera is the words. So you're basically reading the script. Okay,
I'm going to cross it out. I don't need it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, and those
well,
are...
For the moment, yeah.
Yeah, they are absolutely fine. And I don't think anybody should cross them off the list necessarily. But the problem with them is that you do end up sounding like you're reading. So if you can do it and practice so that you actually are reading the words, but it sounds like you're speaking from the top of your head, then that's fine. But I think, yeah, you need to practice with them. And I don't know how good they are for laptops or for mobile phones or whatever. Deborah, have you used one?
I haven't, but there's many apps.
Yeah.
So you can actually load up your script into an app, and then it'll move.
Yeah, it will scroll.
Yeah, you'll scroll with your voice. The good ones will scroll with your voice and stop and slow down or stop, you know, with your voice.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds a lot better. Yeah, it's because I was imagining like you know, like sort of like iPad with like saying things like that. Yeah, no, I think a phone an app will work. Yeah.
I mean, give them a go. I would say I've not tried one. I've seen other people using them, but yeah, I think they would need practice just so you sound authentic.
Yeah, I think the paid ones allow you to do that. Like the free ones are pretty limited.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jackie, you've seen my video, and I read from a script, and I have it like in a Word document, like you have on the screen now.
Yeah.
And I scroll my Word document up to the camera. That's how I do it.
Yeah, yeah, and as long as you're practiced with it, I don't think it's an issue. It just can feel a bit staid sometimes if you're reading something, because the spontaneity is not there. So you lose a little bit of the energy of the spontaneity if you're reading too much.
Yeah, that's that's my next step. That's where I know I need to get off the script and and speak from the heart, but it's a crutch for me. I feel like I need that crutch to feel comfortable on camera. Otherwise, I'm going to be lost.
Yeah, and that,
I'd be like, and I'd be like trying to find my words, trying to find even if I have the bullet points. I got the bullet points, but that I'm trying to find my sentences. Like, and I'd be like, and I'm like, that sounds so stupid, like some crazy person, trying to find my words and my sentences.
Well, if you go back to that sort of just doing it in smaller chunks, that might work if you're recording it. It's just, I mean, I usually start out with my bullet points, and then once I've done sort of 2 or 3 takes, I do, a couple of takes of each section. By the time I get to sort of the 3rd or 4th time, I've more or less got it sort of down so that I'm remembering what it is that I have to say. So yeah, so it might just be taking it in bite-sized pieces rather than trying to do the whole thing.
I mean, what I could do is, have my script, but then maybe every other paragraph I put in my own take.
Yeah.
And go off script like every other paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah. The more you do it, Deborah, the better it will be. It's just finding what's best for you, where you feel comfortable.
Yeah, that just occurred to me. Maybe that would be a good transition for me.
Yeah. Perfect. Identify some opportunities to get out of your comfort zone. So find environments or people that are a lower risk, where you have a strong support system for trying new things. So getting outside of your comfort zone, as I have learned, is where transformation happens. So if you stay inside your comfort zone, you'll never change. Nothing will ever be different. So we need to feel uncomfortable sometimes in order to grow. So don't be worried about feeling uncomfortable. But what you need to do is find environments or groups that you feel supported by. So, I've got some networking groups that I joined during lockdown that I meet on Zoom quite regularly. And I now am feeling quite comfortable with them, that I could post something, that I could go to them, that I can put my thoughts and feelings out there and know that I'll be supported. And that kind of just builds the confidence a little bit more. So do either of you have any kind of networks in that way that you can, or groups of people that you would like, that you would be comfortable trying new things with?
Well, I got my Facebook group.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you know everybody in your Facebook group, Deborah?
No, not at all.
No, but they're quite supportive.
Well, I mean, the people who are engaging are the ones I know. It seems like people that I don't know, they don't really engage. I mean, I don't really get that many views, even in a group of 80. I might only get 20 views, like 10, 20 views of my videos.
Well, that's not bad, 80. That's pretty good, I think. And obviously remember that those people that have joined your Facebook group have joined because they are interested in what you're sharing. So that's supportive on its own, isn't it? Those people are confident in you. They see you as credible and a person that's knowledgeable in your field, a field that they are interested in, and so automatically they are a supportive group.
Yeah. And I got out of my comfort zone by posting that same video on my Facebook business page, which is open to the public. So that's how I got out of my comfort zone, because I could just keep posting videos in my group, a nice comfy group.
Yeah.
but then if it's out in the public, then anyone can find you, any stranger can find you. And so that's how I got out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
is to repost
Well
that.
done. Well done. That is, again, it's putting yourself out there. It's, you know, making yourself vulnerable, but it's very courageous. Well done. Zule, have you got any networks or groups that you are part of? You're part of the professional weirdos.
I need to talk about that because he booked me in for next week, you know, on the 26th, you know, and so far, you know, it's like we haven't spoken yet, you know. I got more or less what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like Ikigai origami, something that I'm developing into, like mixing the two, and while they are folding, they are just knowing more about Ikigai, yeah. But anyway, it's like,
Oh, well, we'll have a chat about that maybe.
yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's a network, Deborah, over here, that's, or certainly on LinkedIn. I'm sure there are people from other places rather than the UK, but at the moment I think it's quite UK based. But yes, they're quite a fun group to be part of. I'm doing one of those as well. I'm doing improvisation, so that would be
When you are doing that,
I think
because he doesn't say, you know, it's like I have to book it in because it's like sort of a surprise, you know. He's saying the last minute or something.
Yeah.
When is your date?
I think it's the 9th of June, but I'm not too sure. Too sure.
Okay. Well, definitely I'm doing it.
Okay, I'm just aware of time, so we'll kind of move on to number 7. Define why your voice is important. So why is what you have to say worth overcoming your nerves for? So have a think about that. What is it? Why is it worth you putting yourself through this? I mean, surely the reason is that you have something important to say. Who or how are you helping by saying it? So by putting your hand up, by putting yourself out there, who are you helping? And how are you helping them? So you know, those are questions that you kind of should ask yourself, because once you've got that in your head, once you know the answers, then that will give you more confidence. Who will you inspire, and why are your words welcome in the world? So yeah, just have a think about your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you putting yourself through the hell of recording and speaking and putting yourself out there? You know, there must be a reason. Otherwise you wouldn't do it. And just by knowing that reason, you'll have more confidence. Yeah. So take action rather than seeking perfection. First, create your confidence by taking action and speaking up. Rehearse your outcome. So by stepping out, you're giving yourself permission to grow. So this goes back to what we were talking about before. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is where you are going to grow. That's how you're going to grow. Rehearse your outcome. So think about what it is that you're speaking up is going to be, you know, who is it benefiting? Really think about that. Rehearse what it is that you're putting out there and why you're putting it out there. But in order to do that, you need to do something. So obviously, Deborah, you're both doing stuff. Deborah, you're putting your videos out there, and Zule, you're doing your origami teaching. So you're both taking action, but the more action you take, the more your comfort will grow. Phrase what you want to say in 2 parts. So this is what I think. So if you have this is more if you're in a situation where people are asking you questions, or if you want to put your ideas up there. So this maybe is more if you're part of a group and everybody's kind of throwing in their ideas and you're feeling worried about putting up your hand and speaking out, then phrase what it is that you have to say by starting, this is what I think, blah, 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 and this is why, blah, blah, blah. Because that just having that framework about how it is, what it is that you want to say and why you're saying it, if you can kind of think in those terms, it will make it so much simpler for you to get started. And once you've done that, once you've done, this is what I think and this is why, then you've opened that conversation. You've put your thoughts out there, and then you're inviting the engagement. Does that make sense? So let go of the outcomes. If you let go of the outcome and share for the sake of sharing and speak up, you can be less attached to what other people do or don't do in response. So if you go in thinking about, the fact that people are going to judge me, they're going to dislike me, they're not going to engage, they're going to be bored, don't worry about them. What you're saying is important to you. So, but let go of what that might be. So share for the sake of sharing and speak up. So share because you are passionate about what you are sharing. Speak up because you've got something to say that other people need to hear. Those people that don't want to hear it are not your people. So don't be worried about what they think. They'll switch off, and that's fine. If they want to switch off, you don't need them. So let go of that outcome. And just, do what you do because you have a passion for it and you know that what you're doing is important and you need to be heard. Okay, so think of the biggest obstacles you have right now. So can you do that? Think of the biggest obstacles that you have. Maybe name me one from each of you.
Time.
Time.
I basically got this, and I'm better with timing myself, because some sessions are like just 45 minutes, 1 hour. And yeah, but my obstacle is like the time.
Yeah. So think of 3 things and write down 3 things that you could do to address that right now. And Deborah, what's your biggest obstacle?
Is being able to speak from the heart, and not having to read a script.
Okay. Can you list 3 things that you could do to address them right now? I mean, list them, don't do them right now. But can you think of 3 things that you could do that would get you a bit further along that road?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I would like every other paragraph.
Yeah.
I would maybe just have a couple of bullet points and just speak from the heart with every other paragraph. So rather than speaking the whole thing, doing the whole thing without a script, I can just interject in between my script paragraphs with my own thoughts.
Yeah. Good. I'm just making notes in case we need to come back to this. Thank you. Zule, what do you think the 3 things that you could do to address your time issues?
Planning with rehearsing, speaking slowly and clearly, and having bullet points.
Yeah. Fabulous. Good. Excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, now you've got those 3 things. Make sure that the next time you're doing something, really do practice, put those into practice, and maybe even beforehand, record yourself and actually do that. I mean, everybody needs to rehearse and to practice. That's the one thing, if nothing else, you take away, is that if you've got something coming up, then walk yourself through it at least 3 times, if not more, before you actually turn on the camera or walk into that room or turn on the Zoom. Make sure that you are practiced and well rehearsed, so that if you do slip up, or if you do forget your words or forget your train of thought, the more you practice, the easier it will be to get back on track. I mean, I've been in situations on stage where I've, forgotten a chunk of dialogue and you can see the other actors going, oh my God, where do I go? What do I say? But actually, if we're all so well rehearsed that somebody else, you know, if it's not yourself, you'll get yourself back to where you are. And actually, if you do mess up and you're on a live, you're talking in a presentation, then go with it. You know, say, apologize, say, hold on a minute, I'm sorry, you know, I'll make that point again. But in pausing and taking those pauses, you will also give yourself time. Your brain will have time to catch up with your mouth. So just make sure that you take those pauses, because, and the more you practice that, the easier that will be. So just make sure you are well rehearsed. So we have 5 minutes left, and I would like to show you some of the equipment and talk a little bit about presentation on the screen. So this is another thing that I picked up, but just around what is the point of your presentation? So really have a think about what it is that you're trying to do. Educate, inform, motivate, inspire, entertain, debate, or a mix of all of them. So really be clear about what your reasons are. So don't just step on the stage or turn on the camera just because you have a product to sell. You know, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, that you've got this in your mind, that I'm here to educate, inform, and to motivate, and that's your primary objective, is to do that. It's not to sell the product, which, you know, in your case, Deborah, is yourself and your coaching, and Zule, your teaching and your arts activities. So, you know, always think of the audience that you are going to be speaking to. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. Is there any questions from that at all? I mean, obviously you'll have this recording so you can go back through it, and I'm happy to, you know.
I'm not sure exactly how do you do the pyramid breath. It's like a technique, or I can research it.
It is, you can research it. There is another really good TED Talk. Actually, what I'll do, I've done a video that I will send you the link to me demonstrating that. It's on my YouTube channel, but I haven't quite sorted it out properly yet. But I will send you that. I'll send you that link. Excellent. Okay, I will stop sharing. Here we go. Now, in terms of, just literally for the last 5 minutes, in terms of presentation, I know, Deborah, we've spoken about background and how you sort of present yourself in your screen. Just in terms of equipment, Deborah, do you use a webcam?
I don't, I just use my laptop camera.
Yeah. Zule, what do you use?
Everything. Well, I started using like the laptop. Well, I mean the desktop, and after I got 2 cameras for Zoom, and after I got just only one. The only problem is that when you see me, I'm not actually seeing on the camera. That's the only issue that I got. But I also got a lamp, you know, like that I put it down when I basically do all of that. Nothing like, how can I put it, very technological, but what it works. But I have got, you know, better, especially with backgrounds.
Yeah,
you know,
no, that looks great.
I change it, you know, according to the theme. Yeah.
And that background you have there, is that just a cloth?
This is actually a tenugi that comes from Kyoto. It's like it's basically it's a sort of a print that they do, like, but basically
it's hanging.
Yes, but it's like, I really recommend it, because it's like basically if you work for the word tenugi, you will find it in like Amazon or like places that they sell furoshiki. You know,
how do you spell it? How do you spell that?
Tenugi. It's called T-E-N-U, and I think it's G-U-I, tenugi. Yeah, okay. But to be honest, if you look for people that sell furoshiki is the clothes that you use. It's like a fabric. In Japan, they don't wrap presents in paper; they wrap it in like fabric, you know. And if they sell that, they sell this. But I could send you a link. You know, it's like.
Yeah, but how do you put it up? Like, do you stick it on a wall?
Well, I got, it's like a curtain, it's like I put it like, how can I put it? It's like, it depends your setting, it's like, it's very rudimentary, but it's like, basically I just put a curtain, and in a garage, and this is my sort of like where I work and do everything. But yeah, the only thing is that I don't have a lot of space to move if I'm going to do the exercise sort of thing. But I move around, and I think you are adapting all the time, and it's just. And what you were saying about the heart, I think you definitely got it. It's like you just have to feel it, My
Yeah.
problem is that I have too much heart, It's like I have to like just, go back to you. You look really calm, and yeah, that is lovely.
Yeah, I mean, in my own house, I don't use. I kind of shy away a little bit from the digital backgrounds, because if you could look, see what this does to me. Hold on.
They are terrible.
Well, you need a green screen.
You do, don't you? Because look.
Yeah, you need a green screen to make it work.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people presenting themselves with these, even if they've got green screens, they just.
Well, I will show you these ones that I got it quite like easy to find. That those were the ones that I used to use before. They are very, it's like they are called Linguini. That will be easier for you to find. It's like called Linguini, and you will find it from Amazon. The thing is that it's very similar. It's like basically cheaper, but it's like something that they it's Japanese as well, but the different backgrounds are lovely. All that you have to do is like basically like maybe like sew this or something. But I do have different. This is the latest one that I got,
okay.
but yeah.
Thank you, Zule.
I like that.
I just, because I'd been speaking to Deborah about. I think, Deborah, you still would be better to turn your camera around slightly so that you are. You've got the other way.
You like that, right?
Keep going.
It's sort of messy. It's messy.
Going. It doesn't matter because you can tidy that up. See, that's so much better.
Oh, you like, but it's all such a mess.
But it doesn't need to be, does it? You could tidy that up a bit.
But what if I put a cloth, like, get Zule's cloth and put it over that?
It depends, because I think while you do it, I'm not sure because you are coaching, it's like with my thing, they don't just see this all the time. They see me for a little bit and after my hands, I think what Jackie have is lovely because it's inviting, and yeah, it's like, I love what you got in there. Just tidy up. Well, I don't know.
We're not telling you what to do, Deborah. You do whatever.
So you don't think having a cloth, like Zule's cloth, and put it over the bookcase. You don't think that would?
I think unless you could do it so that, I mean, in Zule's image there, it's very flat and it's right behind her. If you could do that, I think what you're proposing to do is kind of cover the bookshelf with a cloth, and I don't think you need to. I think the boxes and the baskets you've got there and the plant are lovely, and I think, you've got the books on the shelf next to it, and I think that's all you need to do is just, empty. Let me show you what I've got. First of all, very quick, because we have run out of time, but I just wanted to show you the difference. I will show you how I work with my podcasts in a sec. But in terms of webcams and whether they're worth it, at the moment I'm talking to you on a webcam. But if I do that, so that's me now on my normal camera.
It's not the same. You look nicer in the other one.
Better in the other one?
The webcam I sent. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just shows you the difference there. And again, like you, Zule, I've got a lamp. So if I turn my lamp off, you can see the difference. And it's literally a little tiny thing. Didn't cost me very much at all.
Yeah, similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are things that you can use just to. Oh.
Are you okay?
Just to make things worse. That's my camera that I've just turned on. Right, I'm going to take this camera off and I will show you. I mean, obviously, when I do my workshops, if I'm doing voice and presentation workshops, I am in here because I've got space to move. And actually, I don't know what other people think, but I don't think that's it's not too busy, it's quite clear.
Oh, it's lovely.
But I do, before I do present, I have to run round and clear the table almost every single time. And, you know, I've got stuff in, oh yeah, you wouldn't want to, you kind of have to dress the square. Yeah. So I'm going to switch to that camera, and then I'm going to take you into my daughter. My daughter is in the living room, so she won't enjoy this, but I will show you what I do.
How can you walk?
I'm coming in with my class. Hold on a sec. I'm on a laptop, that's why.
Ah, okay.
So when I do my podcast, I set myself up on a desk here, and I've got myself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
Forward speak. Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
And that, obviously, I bought that from Amazon. I think that was about 20 quid, and the pens. And I change that every time I do a podcast. I change the wording. And then, you know, if I sit down, I make sure that the cushion is here and stuff, so that it doesn't necessarily look like my living room, but it just gives a bit more of an idea. And if I'm doing a different podcast, sometimes I sit here. So that it's see this. Thank you.
I seem to have variety is also good as well, because before I didn't used to have that. I used to have something similar to Deborah, and I used to have like things like that in the background, like where like origami, and like I think sometimes even changing is good for you. You know, it's like.
Yes, yeah. I mean, with the podcast, people now know that the blackboard
yes,
will change, and so it's kind of, when they tune in, when they come to see me, they kind of know what to expect. So it's almost like branding yourself. So you kind of brand your square to what it is that you're presenting. And obviously, you know, Zule, with your background there, that fits perfectly with what you do.
Okay, I will keep it.
Yeah, and Deborah, as I say, the baskets you've got there, the boxes, they're lovely. It's a really nice shelf, and I think you've got a little bit where you can be playing against your wall almost, but you've got that little bit of interest beside you.
You think the interest? Because I was going to think. I was thinking to do like a plain wall, like, you know, some people have just a plain background, plain wall.
Yeah.
You think having some kind of interest helps?
I think so. I mean, that might be a personal thing, but I think what I would do is do some research. Go and find some videos of people that you would like, that are doing a similar thing to you, people that you admire, and look at what their background is. Look at what they're doing. When you're on other networking meetings or in other groups, peer into the background of other people's squares. You know, you'll be drawn to the ones that you like, that you think look good. You know, there might be some that you'll look at and go, oh my God, I can't even see what's going on because it's all so busy.
I mean, it's true. Like I'm drawn. Oh, what a mess. No, I'm drawn. Yeah, I am drawn to the ones with like a nice, calm background, like a shelf, like, you know, like your little shelf that you got set up, Jackie. You know, I like that.
Yeah, but I dressed that. My living room has changed in lockdown. I almost did it because right at the beginning, I knew that I was going to have to start making videos and put my classes online. And so I thought, well, you know, I've got to think about my background, because I know when I'm watching people on a square, I feel more drawn, more invited by seeing things that are, I don't know, presented. I would much rather see something that's presented. I mean, I think it's as important as presenting yourself. So when you turn up on screen, if you want people to like you, be drawn to you, be engaged by you. I mean, I
get to know you.
Yeah, you know, I always put makeup on, even if I'm feeling like, you know, usually I'm not in the mood, but it gets me, I present myself on screen exactly as I would if I was turning up to a presentation in a room.
So I even put perfume. I like to put perfume before the session. Yeah,
because it's not about them, it's about you. It's about you turning up feeling as comfortable and as confident as you possibly can. And if that means you sitting there, you know, bejeweled and smelling gorgeous, then, you know, that's That's gonna help you.
I have a standing desk, so I actually go high. I'm standing when I'm doing my videos.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'd like one of those. I don't have one. I'm piled up on books and stuff. But
Well,
that's another.
You can buy a standing thing that you put on top of your desk.
Yeah.
So that your laptop moves.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I need to get one of those. That's my next thing. But yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm gonna have to leave you, ladies, because my daughter is. I've shut her out of the kitchen for the last hour and a half. So
I need to put the telephone on because she must be ringing ages.
So it's been lovely working with you. Obviously, if you want to work further with me, I've got coaching packages that will, suit you both. So just let me know what it is that you know.
How busy are you now for like 1 minute to like just arrange a date? Because basically, I really would like, a session of like 1-to-1, 45 minutes or something like that before next Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. So yeah, we'll sort that out right now. So Deborah, it's been lovely, lovely, lovely working with you, and I hope to see you soon. And I will, join. Let me join your Facebook group. I'll get all this stuff over to you, and then.
Well, I'll email you my group.
Lovely.
I would love to join too. I'm just really interested in what you do. I have done coaching, but it's like just writing courses, not like actually coaching somebody, but yeah, good.
Oh, are you happy for me to share your emails between the two of you?
Yeah, sure.
Definitely, yeah.
I'll put my group in the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there you go.
So there's my group.
Fabulous.
Got it.
Let's save that.
That was quick.
Yeah, I forgot. I always forget the chats there. Excellent. Well, that's great. I'm just going to look at my diary now, Sule.
Perfect. I put a request, and I love the name, Vibrant Abundant Health.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well done.
That'd be great. Thank you, Jackie. That was awesome. I got a lot of it, and and I'd love to join your group or get on your list.
Oh, I will add you to the newsletter. I'll put you on the mailing list.
Great.
Yeah, and I am doing, and I don't know, Zule, you may well be allowed to come along to this. I think you can join. We're doing a summit, and I'm presenting for the coaching community. A summit around, but it will be similar to what we've done today, because I think that's what they're after is around presentation.
The more the better.
But it is a whole day. If you join, there's other people. There's not just me. I think there's three others. There's four of us.
When is that?
29th. It's a Saturday. That's the only thing.
No problem.
Yeah, but I'll send you the info for that as well.
Excellent.
Okay. Brilliant. Right. So Zule, when is your Wednesday?
Okay, my thing with Simon is on the 26th, yeah, but I do have other things just coming up. I'm not too bad, but I just want to get better, Well,
can we do the yes we can. 25th, can you do the 25th?
Wow, that's one day before. Do you have any okay today?
Okay, I'm gonna get going. Yeah. So bye, guys.
Yeah, bye, Deborah.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything between Thursday and Friday this week?
I am really pushed this week, I have to say. So
that sounds good. That sounds like you're very busy.
I could maybe do
Monday morning.
I could do Monday. Yeah, I could do Monday morning.
Okay.
Do
that will be good, because it will give me a chance to I don't know, just put some bullet point thoughts and tell you what I'm doing.
Okay. So that how long would you want? Because it's £80 an hour.
Yeah.
So I could do an hour or half an hour. How long do you think you'll need?
1 hour will be good.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, I'll put you in for 10:30, if that's okay.
Yes. And what sort of preparation do you, because I, well, you know exactly the situation that I am in, and it's like basically I need to take as much advantage of that time as possible. Basically what I need is just that, coaching around boys, about Tom, about um, just being calm, I suppose, when I'm talking, and stopping a little bit my passion, and
Yeah.
like those sort of things, and maybe like that script that it will take just only like maybe like 3 minutes or something like that. That's what I have been like doing with doctors. When I talk, just only I time myself for 3 minutes. I don't tell the story about the frog. I just said like, I used to suffer from mental health.
Do you,
Yeah.
has Simon given you time? Has he told you how long he's expecting, what he's expecting?
Well, it's just, you know that he's just, procrastinating, it's like, but anyway, we said that we will do it that day for sure, and
I
but
mean,
he
I
got
know,
a sort of a script about the time that is like, I don't know, it's like 50 minutes of like talking and getting into the scene, and 5 minutes into like um, I will be at my best when I'm just, doing like
yeah,
the hands, and actually talking, because what I usually do when I'm doing the origami is that I talk, but it's different, for me, it's easier, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah. Well, when we meet, maybe come along with an outline of what it is that you're going to be doing.
Yes.
And then we'll have that to work on, but we'll do some work around the voice. Obviously an hour isn't overly long, but we'll have a go at looking at the voice and
Yeah,
what it is that you've
we'll
got
see
to present.
how long do you have, because it's like, if it's like I can push it to like 1 hour 13 1 hour 30 minutes, that will be like 120 pounds.
Yes, yeah. I mean, obviously yeah, that's I think maybe an hour. It depends if you've got other stuff to do. We could do an hour and a half. I wouldn't necessarily push it certainly any more than that. What I'm thinking is that based on what you've said, I think a sort of a longer, maybe 12 week coaching package is what you need to, work through, sort of to get you to that point. What you're asking for for next week is really kind of an emergency. I've got a presentation.
Yeah, well, to be honest, after I get the divorce, I hopefully, I don't
Yeah,
know, my life will change for the better, and I could invest more in myself.
yeah.
But at the moment, it's a little bit, yes, you're right. It's sort of like emergency.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, I'll leave that up to you. Just let me know whether you think you want to do an hour or an hour and a half.
What will you think after, even in an emergency situation? Or I'm not that bad. I have been doing it for 11 years. I just want to do it like right, for life, because it's different. It's a different audience,
yeah. I
yeah.
think you've got if you were putting together a face on presentation, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why I do it, then that's one thing. If you're working on showing us some origami where we're going to see your hands, and it's only sort of 20 minutes, then that's something that you're obviously very used to doing and probably
Yeah.
doesn't need the whole hour and a half. So it's up to you, depending on how confident you feel with what it is that you're going to be doing.
Well, basically, the helping will be for that, how to start, how to like sell myself, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And yeah, I think it's just the start, because what I usually do is like sometimes I throw in like a little presentation to break the ice, you know, and it's like they are seeing less of my face, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would recommend then is look at the timings that Simon's given you. If it turns out that you've got like 10 minutes to talk about who you are, what you do, and why, then bring the presentation with you. Bring that 10 minutes with you, because obviously the demonstration and what you're doing, you know, backwards. So you know that really well. So put together a 10-minute introduction, however much that is. I think when I've done presentations before, and I don't know if you have too, it's roughly maybe 2 sides of an A4 sheet of paper.
It is. Yeah, we talk about it. I got a rough idea that basically what I do best and what I'm more confident about is the actually workshop. You know, it's like when they do the origami and all of that, and it's just the talking. To be honest, you have to be cut every time less and less, and that's where I'm failing. You know, it's like I see in 5 minutes of like introducing myself and having like what they call that elevator pitch about yourself. It's like I'm terrible about that.
Yeah. Well, write something down. Do, you know, whatever it is, write out
and practice with you. Yeah.
And we'll practice that. We'll go through that, because I can time you. I can work on what it is that you're saying and why you're saying it. And then we'll do the pyramid breathing and the warm-up exercises again, and just will get you to that place where you feel confident showing up on Wednesday.
Okay, as I really want to do this, I need it so much. I really, you know, I will go for like 1.5 hours, you know,
Okay.
and it's like we practice the breathing and those sort of things. I think it's more like it's an investment in myself, you know.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at. I've got 12:30.
Oh yes. Okay.
Oh, okay. It's all right. It's not. Yes, I can do that. Yeah, 10:30. So 10:30. You know, 10:30
okay.
till 12.
Yes, that sounds good. Because I got a session at 2, but it's like, I don't know, it's like those sessions are that amazing. And the feedback that I receive, you know, even for like cancer ladies, that they just forget about that and they call me inspirational and all of that. It's like, I know that I'm doing well, you know, it's like, but this other thing that I want to build up is different, you know. Yeah. Okay, perfect, Jackie. 10:30 on Monday until 12.
Yes.
And I will talk to Simon and say that, you know, it's like he knows you. I got to you because of him, you know, and it's like, I will say, you know, I will work with Jackie about what I'm going to say and he will be happy. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, well, lovely to see you today. And I will get all this stuff over to you.
Yes, because it's like, and looking forward to like, how can I put it? Just, you know, get this going.
Yeah. Fabulous. Fabulous. Excellent. Well, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. You take care.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.